Well, exercise 806, as you can see, is talking about medicine dosage. Now, really, this is just an algebra exercise. So the dosage will be determined by a formula, and you will be substituting into the formula. You may be substituting into the formula and finding the subject of the formula, or you might be, after substituting, you might find you have to find a pronumeral other than the subject, and in that situation you will have created an equation and you will solve that equation. So this exercise really is just using your skills from algebra, and we would call it the application of solving equations. And just note, you're not expected to know these formulas. If you're required to use them, they'll be given, and just follow the instruction given with the formula. Now, the interesting things to note in the formulas are the actual units that they use. So the age of the child, if the formula says it has to be in years, what they sometimes do is give you the age of the child in months. But in order for you to be able to use the formula they've given, you must convert your age to years. It changes. Look, every formula could be different, and you mightn't ever see any of these. These are some common ones that have come up over and over, but you know, you might see a formula that you've never seen before, and so that will then be a real test of how well you pay attention to detail, how well you read and take note of every piece of information given, and then follow the instruction. That's good problem solving skills anyway, and which should be applied to all questions. You're paying attention to detail. You're noting everything that's given in a question. Okay, I would encourage you then to do 806. I've also, you can see hopefully a worksheet tab, and there's a medication worksheet, and I would suggest that you actually complete that one as well. I'm going to go on in this video and talk about life expectancy. I think these are three very straightforward exercises, and I think you won't have any trouble completing them. The way to be confident with these applications is to do lots of questions. Just do the practice. There is no shortcut. You must do the practice. The more questions you've been exposed to, the more confident you become, the more likely you are to be able to get the correct answer when you get a question you've never seen before. There is an interesting thing about life expectancy, and that is life expectancy is the number of years a person of a particular age today can expect to live. So if someone is 50 years old, they may look up their life expectancy and find it's 30 years. And you go, oh, well, how did they get to 50? Well, because you've got to understand what the life expectancy number, 30 in this case, actually represents. And it represents the number of years they can expect to live past 50. So they're expecting to reach 80 in the example that I've just given. Life expectancy definitely depends on the country you live in, and not only the country, the region in the country. I recently heard statistics saying here in the Hunter, think the average, a woman could be expected to live to maybe early 80s, but in the northern suburbs of Sydney, on average, women live to, I think it was something like 87. So even here, depending on where you live, and I guess that has some influence on services that are available, support that's available, etc., and that all has an impact on your health as you age. So yes, be aware of that. It's the actual number of years that you can expect to live beyond your age at the moment. So you might actually highlight the number of years of a life remaining for a person. It's another way to look at it. Like I was saying before, life expectancy or expected age at which somebody will die very much depends on the country. And so you're going to see, you've got a table here of various countries and the life expectancy of somebody born today. They will expect to have this many years remaining to live. And this table over here is a little bit different. This is the age of death. No, it's not. It is the mortality rate. So in Australia, we have very low mortality rate for children. In India, it's very high. Russia is not so high. Vietnam, it's also high. It is just a matter of reading the information given and adapting, being adaptable, knowing that not every table will be the same, not every graph will be the same. And without reading the description about them, it becomes very difficult to correctly answer questions. So you can see I've answered those couple of quick questions about the column graph, which is the child mortality or death rate per 1,000 live births. So in Australia, we have few mortalities of babies when babies are born. India, lots of babies born will die. Russia, a few more. Vietnam, quite a few as well. Which country has the lowest child mortality rate? Well, that's us, according to just these 4 countries. What's the life expectancy for males? So we need to go to the table for that. And males are here. Male born, when this was put together, could expect to live till they were 79. The highest mortality rate occurs for when a child is born, occurs in India, and the females in India can expect to live till they're 66. What's the link between life expectancy? Well, if a country has a high child mortality rate, then it is likely to have a low life expectancy age. And I'm sure your common sense would tell you that. So that's it for exercises 807 and 808. And I'll just show you that there's a worksheet for those as well. There's one on life expectancy, and you'll see the worksheet tab and predicting life expectancy, and some really, really good examples that you should attempt, because like I said before, the more you do, the more confident you'll become, and it is all about being exposed to different questions and having to seek out the information in the question and answer the question asked. Okay, you should be right then to do those 3 exercises.